Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to another Define on TikTok Live with myself, Caitlin. I want to welcome you all to our journal with me today. We meet every Tuesday at 11 a.m. Eastern, right here on TikTok Live, to journal together and to build a consistent personal growth and reflection practice for 2026. Good morning, Jenna. Good morning, Rachel. I want you all to remember that the Define community is a safe space. So, good morning, Shauna. We show up together, we write together, and we are growing together. Each week, I guide you through journaling prompts, share different journaling techniques, and I'll give you time to write in real time. Good morning, little you. Good morning, Stephanie. Good morning, Star. And don't worry, because if you ever miss a session, the replay and the prompts are always uploaded afterwards, so you can journal on your own time and stay connected to the practice. Every week we focus on a different theme, and because this is the last week of the month, I thought that a great word to focus on would be rooted. So let's go ahead and start this journaling session. Right now, the first thing I like to do is, you can see here I have my journal sectioned off. I used the Purposeful Planning blank tabs for this. I chose inspiration and reflection. So the first step that we do every time we start these journaling sessions off together is we write a quote that we see that resonates with us. So open up to your Inspire section, and I always write the date first. So today is February 23rd. 2026. And I like to write the time as well. It is 11:02 a.m. So then what I like to do is I am going to be grabbing our daily, oh my gosh, it's the 24th. I'm so sorry. I hadn't flipped the calendar yet. No big deal. You know how sometimes you're thinking of a date and, oh my word. I was so excited to flip the calendar with you guys that I just forgot. Thank you, little you. Sorry about that. No big deal. Fixed. Great. The next thing I like to do is we are going to start this off by flipping the calendar. I don't know what the quote is yet. I wanted to wait for you all. Okay. Done is better than perfect. Little you said I'm frequently on the wrong day. My job keeps me on the right date, right? This is what keeps me on the right date every morning. I was just so excited. Done is better than perfect. Wow. This is going to resonate with a lot of us. This is something we talk about all the time on our lives together. So that is such a great quote to start us off today. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to transfer this into our journal. That way our Inspire section becomes a go-to for all things motivation, inspiration. Jenna said, been focusing on that quote a lot. How has that been going for you? Do you think that you are finishing more than you were before because you're less worried about the perfection of it all? And I'm also going to write where it's from. I like doing that. Yes, Shauna agreed. So what you're going to do next is write a little 1 to 2 sentences about what this quote means to you. What does it make you feel, and why is it resonating with you today? So done is better than perfect. Jenna said, yes, it helps. I'm not going to lie, it's been hard. Which makes sense, especially because if it's something that is so ingrained within you, it's kind of like a habit almost. It's more of like you have to shift your whole mindset. So it's a lot more than just, okay, I know done is better than perfect, but we have to actually do it. Does that make sense? Good morning, Nakia. How are you? I'm just going to push that back so I can write a little more. This is something that once we start to try to do, we have to be or in order to start doing this, we really have to be so cognizant of it. So I'm just going to take a moment, just think, write a little bit, and then I'll tell you what I write. So done is better than perfect. Well, this. Oh, Nakia. Okay. Well, I'm glad you can tune in with us, get a little inspo to lift your spirits. Perfectionism is a part of people pleasing. Okay. Beautiful. You just tapped into a deeper component of this quote that is amazing. Okay. Hey, Spooky. I'm proud of you, Jenna, working on getting rid of that. That's not easy. That is so hard. Hey, Rachel, I struggle with breaking up larger tasks to small ones to be able to say done. Okay. You haven't missed anything, Nakia. Is it, Rachel, I'm curious if it's the fact, do you not know how to break it up? Or are you, like, what holds you back from breaking it up? Also, I'm so glad you're on here, Rachel. It's been a while. We missed you on here. You want to do it all. Okay. But not enough time. There is never enough time. That is the problem. So, I'm trying to think. Do you think, hey, miss, I'm curious as to how we could shift that for you, Rachel. Okay. Is it almost like a feeling of control? Like you want to be the one to do it all, but you know that maybe you have to delegate a little bit? Oh, the old you could do it. Okay. Well, the good news is you are still you. So you can still do it now. That's the beauty of it. But maybe it's less of necessarily breaking everything into smaller tasks and more of just starting with one thing. Now, older with kids, you have to break it up. Okay. Breaking it up and just doing one thing at a time, trying not to focus on the end result. That is a very concerning metaphor. Rachel could think of eating an elephant one bite at a time. I don't want her to think of that. That just sounds sad. Little you said, I went down a different rabbit hole with her quote today based off her word of the day, sagacious. So 2 things. What is your quote? Second, what does sagacious mean? As I wait for some answers from you guys, I'm going to reflect a little bit. What? Rachel said your old I've never heard of that saying before. Your old psychology professor used to say that? Is that a thing? That's such a sad metaphor. I've never heard that. That's insane. Okay, well, maybe that was meant to be. Shonda, welcome to our journaling session. So the way that this is set up is I have us do a little reflection on the quote just to get us warmed up. And so today is from our daily flip calendar, and it's done is better than perfect. And then I will shift us into today's word, which is rooted. So let me go ahead and just write my own little entry here, giving us all a few moments. Hey, Lady D, a few moments to connect with this quote. Again, done is better than perfect. And I'm just going to carry it over onto this next page. And I'll read you this in just a moment. And if there's any questions, you guys, always never be afraid to ask. That's what we're here for. We'll dive into the reflection in just a moment. Okay. And I'm just going to read through some of the comments that I missed. Little used quote is simply stated, it is sagacious to eschew obfuscation by Norman Ralph Augustine. It's a fancy way to say it is wise to avoid confusing or unnecessarily complex language. Sagacious means to have or show an ability to understand difficult ideas and situations to make informed decisions. Knowledge is power, and I love it, but we need to be able to simplify it. Okay. It is sagacious to eschew obfuscation. So you are saying it's wise to avoid confusing or unnecessarily complex language. Okay. Well, that is a very different quote. Where did you find this quote from? And it sounds like to me you're focusing on, you loved those long weird words, basically. Okay, I'm here for it. Also, and then Jenna also said micro steps, breaking down to the smallest step possible. Absolutely. The internet. Yes, okay. Totally fair. That's so cool. Thank you for sharing that. I'm going to have to sit with that one. I want to come back to it. So you know what? I'm going to actually write it down in the inspiration section as well. Let me write this down. And then we'll move forward. Okay. How does everyone feel with this first section? Let me simply state it. I'm going to come back to this quote. This was Norman Ralph Augustine. Okay, beautiful. Shonda said, what are you doing in the first section? I was late getting on. Okay, great. So the first section, so the way that I have this journal sectioned off is there's inspiration and reflection. The inspiration section is where I keep all of our quotes, phrases, sayings, anything that resonates and that I don't want to forget. Ultimately, this builds up a motivational quote, a motivational section that we can come back to. So today I was using the daily flip calendar and I had us do a little reflection on done is better than perfect. So I write the date, the time, and I just write the quote, where I found it. I forgot to do that part. And why it's resonating with me. So just so you can hear what I wrote done is better than perfect from our daily flip calendar. This is a great reminder that nothing is going to be perfect. It's important that we start. If we keep waiting for the moment, we'll be waiting a long time. I want to be able to make progress and see growth. And to do that, I cannot be afraid of messing up or disappointing others. The only way to disappoint others is to do nothing at all. And then Jenna wrote about how this saying keeps popping up in her life lately. Beautiful. Quotes always find us right when they are meant to. Yes. So then, progress was the word that came up for Rachel. Okay. That is exactly what this quote helps me to remember, to just make progress. And to make that progress, we have to not be afraid to start. Quotes are beautiful because they evoke such different emotions for each of us, and they can have such different interpretations depending on where you are in this season of your life. So then as we move forward with our journaling with me today, I like us to all then move into our reflect section. So if you sectioned off your journal, I encourage you now to flip to the latest entry for your reflection. Shauna said, challenges for myself include trying new things. Yes, which you've already done. You went on the cruise. Jenna always says, practice makes progress. Yes. Aw, Rachel, I'm so happy that you're starting your morning on such a positive note. I'm so proud of you guys for showing up today. So now we're going to move into our reflection section if everyone's ready. Have an amazing day, Rachel. Thank you for tuning in as long as you could. I always love seeing you guys on here. We're going to start with, okay, you guys are ready? I love this. We're going to start with the date, so we'll get it right this time, February 24th. It's 11:17, and this is a journal with me. You too, Rachel. So then what we are going to do is, the way that I love these sessions to go is we have a word to guide us. And last week it was trust. This week it's going to be rooted. And I think it's fun to grab a sticker. And specifically, I thought rooted would be great for the watering can because roots need to be watered, taken care of. Hey, Casey. Okay. So just to introduce you guys, again, if you're new here, over the past few weeks, we've been having our theme. So we've done reset, focus, intention, steady, and trust. And so I have been hearing from so many of you how proud you are of your progress this month, which is so great. And as we enter a new month, this becomes the month that a lot of people quietly stop showing up for themselves, whether it's through New Year's resolutions letting go or not focusing on your goals. So I think that this is the perfect moment to pause, not to necessarily push ourselves harder. We don't necessarily have to set new goals to focus on. It's about reconnecting with who we are and what we want to accomplish. That way we have that motivation to keep pursuing our goals at the time when normally we let go of them. So before we move into each prompt, I just want to explain a little bit more of the meaning of rooted and how we got here. Because when we think of being rooted, I want you to think about being grounded in who you are. It means that you're not easily shaken by what is happening around you. Rooted is about being anchored in your values, steady in your identity, and confident in your ability to handle challenges without losing your center. That was something I actually wanted to write in here as well. What do I mean by rooted? I'm going to repeat that just in case you are wondering, what does the word rooted mean? You hear it a lot, but what does it mean? It's about being anchored in your values, steady in your identity, and confident in your ability to handle challenges without losing your center. Okay. Good morning, Lisa. Welcome to our journal with me. So what you can take away from this too is that rooted means that you are growing from a strong foundation. Think of it like a tree. The taller it grows, the deeper its roots have to go. So to sum it up, being rooted means your values guide you. Your identity is not dependent on mood or outside opinions. And your growth comes from within, not from comparison. So I want you guys to let that settle in and think about asking yourself, am I building from who I am or reacting to what's around me? This week, we are focusing on that depth and about remembering ourselves beneath the progress. So let's dive in. The first prompt, we're going to focus on that foundation. So I'm going to challenge you guys to start your reflection off with the following prompt. What principles feel true to who I am becoming? And why are they worth building my life around? So again, what principles I spelled principles wrong. What principles feel true to who I am becoming? And why are they worth building my life around? I want to make sure that you understand why I'm asking you each prompt as well. That's really important for this. So the reason being is that roots are invisible, but they do determine how strong something becomes. Your principles are your roots. They shape your decisions, your reactions, your boundaries, and your long-term direction. So if we aren't consciously choosing our principles, we unconsciously react to circumstances. So in order to understand why we are doing what we are doing every day, we need to take the time to reconnect with ourselves. So to answer this question, and always feel free to let me know in the chat some of the answers that come up for you if you have any questions, if you need clarification. But ask yourself, what values do I want guiding my decisions this season? That's huge, okay? This season of your life. What do I want to be known for in my own life? What kind of internal standards feel aligned with who I'm becoming? And lastly, why do these principles matter to me right now? I want you to have that recognition of the why behind it to anchor your answer. I'm going to pause for a few moments to give you all that opportunity to think, to write your own response, and if anything is unclear, let me know. I'm going to take a moment and think about this answer for myself as well. Okay, Shauna, that makes sense. And you can always start to write, come back to it, narrow it down. This doesn't have to be set in stone. I actually encourage you to carry this question with you every day, not just today, because that will help you moving forward build that confidence that we talked about a lot last week in our decisions, in ourselves. Because when you know your why, when you know your intentions, you can make decisions in alignment with that. It's not an easy question. Amazing, Shauna. Think I'm on the right track. Values, love, nurturing, and strong. That sounds like the perfect track to me. I love the word nurturing, focusing on the idea of love. And in connection, I think strong is such a powerful word because it's having that courage to stick to your principles, to know that you are doing what you think is right, and you are going to have that foundation based off of that, which is huge. I just wanted to look up, I wrote down a word. I just wanted to make sure it's the word I'm thinking of. So give me 1 second. I'm just going to look this up real quick. Okay, I don't think this is the word I meant. Okay, you are, oh, wow. Well, that sounds like you're a nurse in the ER. That sounds like the exact makings for you to be strong in, yes, your career. But I love that it also carries out to all parts of your life. This is not the word I thought it meant. I thought it meant more of a different thing. Jenna said boundaries, because setting boundaries help me love you while still loving me. Okay. I'm trying to think if there is, I want to make sure that you have a positive connotation with your values as well, and your principles, I mean, because I think that's such a strong word, and it's important to focus that. I'm wondering, I guess what I'm trying to say is the principle boundaries, or is the principle, what's the word I'm looking? Or is the boundary, what is the boundary, I guess is what I'm asking. Trust, honesty, strength, emotionally intelligent. Yes. Little U struggles with perfectionism, which seems to be a trend for a lot of people. But I am learning to embrace who I am while still working on my goals and myself. Yes. Amazing. I think the word that I wanted to put as my third was that word strength. I'm choosing the words kindness, confidence, and strength. And the more I think about it, I want you to think of your principles as similar to your values. Okay, great. I like that explanation, Jenna. Boundaries honor who you are authentically. So maybe your principle is that authenticity. Sometimes with the word boundaries, I just like to make sure that we're not just using it as a reason to shut down or to close people out. So that is really what I was getting at. Your principle can absolutely be boundaries if that is what's going to serve you today. Just making sure to tap into it. Okay, absolutely. I'm glad to hear that. Because that's the underlying core, I think, of this season of your life, Jenna. And make sure that we are all tapping into the second part of this question, which is, why are they worth building my life around? So ask yourself, why is trust? Why is strength? Why is that emotional intelligence my principle? If you can, I want you to also connect it with the different parts of your life, seeing it as one, again, coming back to, remember your balance, your plate exercise, coming back to your plate and seeing, if I were to take a step back and I were to look at my plate, do these principles help serve the balance I'm trying to seek? So I think kindness is how I want to honor my relationships, but also the voice in my own head. Actually, instead of but, I'm going to write the word and, so it shows that this is a connection, not a taking away from. Knowing that everyone is experiencing something. It's okay to be kind. It's okay to be kind. I think that that's a reminder that we all need sometimes, you know? It's okay to be kind even if others aren't being kind to you. In like the little things. That's what I'm going to add. And knowing that at the end of the day, I am always acting from my core self. So I can look, and the reason, this is where I'm getting into with the second part of this, why are they worth building my life around? It's really so I can always look back, be it 1 hour or 1 year, and know that I was my best self in the moment. Or coming from a place of strength and kindness. Jenna said authenticity versus people pleasing. Huge, huge thing. I would say, so your principle here would be the authenticity. People pleasing is more of a, how do I say this? People pleasing tends to come from a lack or a fear. I want our principles to be focused on that, on the opposite of it. So if you were to move through this season of your life with love, because the two categories are usually love and fear, right? If we are approaching things from fear, that is when I think we tend to fall into the people pleasing, because we're lacking our confidence, our trust in ourselves. Whereas if we're approaching it from a place of love, the principle is going to be that authentic self. But maybe it's questioning, what does that mean? So can you break down authenticity for yourself? Those, I think, would be your principles. So maybe authenticity is to you is openness. I think it's also that right now, especially, that principle is yes. Okay, beautiful. Then I think you've answered that question. At your age, you're done with people pleasing because I truly love myself and who I am and who I'm becoming. So I think it's purpose. I think one of your principles could be purpose then. You seem to be in this state of life where you know why you're here, what you want to accomplish, and nothing's going to get in your way. And at the end of the day, a lot of that has to do with our purpose. And I think purpose, love, and I think strength is another one. I think strength is a common factor in all of our answers today. Because strength, I would say strength and confidence are going to go hand in hand here. My goal for today is to make sure that we're taking our time with each answer, giving you enough time to go through and write your own reflection that's going to sit with you, just so you know. So if anything comes up, Shonda, I also know it's your first time, so if there's anything that you want me to go over, let me know. We'll move into the next prompt in just a moment. Now, for the next prompt, it's actually a two-parter. And I'm going to flip the page just because I want to make sure that these prompts are on the same page. But if you have enough space, feel free to write it there. You're struggling with finding words for why are they worth. Okay. So why are they worth building your life around? Well, thinking about your answers, you said that you're tired of people pleasing. And I think the key word is also that you're ready to move into this life move into this next stage, really focusing on that self-love and who you are becoming. So I think that right there helps you focus on why they are worth building your life around. Because if you are pursuing your purpose, if you are pursuing your goals, well, you always want to have these principles to guide you. If you also want to tell me I can't remember the exact principles we said that for you. If you wanted to say them again in the chat, I can help you really push through this. And I'm glad that you are asking because it's such a great question. Why are they worth building my life around? Why do you want to have that strength? Exactly. That's it. You answered it, Jenna. That's it right there. Amazing. Thank you for sharing all of that too. I really appreciate it. Which brings us into our second prompt, actually, because this is going to be focusing on that authentic self when it comes to our roots. So I want to do this in two parts. The first question is going to be, lately, when do I feel most like myself? So I'm going to write 2A. Keyword being lately. This part right here is about, hey, iMusic, this is about focusing on recognizing alignment. Because I have seen it firsthand through all of you guys that this past month, we've really all grown and made such great progress. And beneath all that effort, there are moments when we have just felt like ourselves. Natural, it could be that confidence, that strength, honest, and calm. I want you to tap into those moments and I want you to describe them. Where are you when they're happening? Who are you with? How are you speaking? How are you carrying yourself? What feels steady or true in those situations? This is kind of like scripting in a way that we do with manifestation, only we're going to look back and make sure it's something that we can connect to now. So think about the version of you that is authentic, unforced, and I want you to write about it. Those are your roots. That is what you come back to when you feel off-centered, when you need that connection to your principles. Little you said when she's doodling, arts and crafts, reading, or writing. Amazing. Tap into the details. That's going to help level up your answer as well. Where are you when you're doodling? Who are you with? Are you listening to music? What kind of books are you reading? What are you writing? I want you to get to the nitty-gritty. For instance, I have been feeling most connected with myself during these types of TikTok lives with you. The plan with me's, the journal with me's, setting up our monthly trackers. That is when I am coming to life. And I want you to ask yourself why. With any journaling prompt, it is so important that we are taking it that one step further than we have in the past, making sure that we are asking why. That is how we recognize that opportunity for growth. Jenna said, when I'm dancing, especially when I'm dancing alone with no one watching. Amazing. What kind of music? What is it in those moments, especially when no one's watching, that you're doing differently? That's what I want us to tap into. Okay, taking that moment to see. It could also be you might have 2 times. Oh, wait, that's such a great answer, Shonda. That's so sweet. You feel like yourself around your grandchildren. They don't care. You can be silly. That right there reveals a lot. It means you feel safe with them. You know they're not judging you. And that is a sign that maybe you want to be around people like that more often. There's no pressure from them. You can just be you. And I think that is amazing. There's such power in that. Jenna said, I'm dancing for myself. It's not performative. I can feel my core love of dance and love of my talent. Oh, beautiful. Little, you said I have 2 left feet. That is awesome. Once we have answered the first part of this, we also want to shift our perspective a little bit. Okay, so I want you all to, once you're happy and confident with your answer, I want you to shift your reflection a little bit here. So part 2 of this question is going to be, where am I noticing a disconnect? So once again, where am I noticing a disconnect? I want to ask you this question without it feeling like criticism, okay? This is about bringing that awareness instead. So ask yourself, where do you feel slightly pulled away from who you are? And in what situations do you feel pressure, comparison, overthinking, or the need to perform? This helps us see the difference and the contrast between alignment and a little drift. Yes, this is a deep thinking question. I am going to challenge you here to, instead of jumping to how can I fix this, I actually want us to really focus on this idea of just seeing clearly. Take your time with this. This one you're going to have to sit with for a second because it's important that I like starting us off with more of the, let's say, positive self-awareness, and then we're not going to put it into a positive or negative, just a difference of that disconnect. One thing that's coming to mind with a lot of the answers that we are seeing today, that we see in general, is people. Is there a group of people that you spend time with that you feel such a strong disconnect? Is there something that you're doing every day that you do, but you're almost feeling like, why am I doing this? Okay. Shonda said, I would say work. I find myself questioning. Okay. I'm a little surprised. I guess in such a good way, I'm actually going to say I'm surprised by your answer because earlier when we talked about your principles, they aligned so nicely with what you said that you did. So I wonder is it the work itself or is it the environment? That's what I'm curious about. Is there something that you want to be doing differently when you feel like, how can I hold on? I said, I know that we're not going to take this into action necessarily, but sometimes I know for myself, it's important to think of the situation. Think about, okay, I noticed the disconnect. And our natural instinct, just like I said to you, is to see our external reality. Take a moment and think about your internal as well. Is there something that shifts inside of you that causes the disconnect? Oh, okay. Shonda says, I always ask, was there anything I could have done differently? That I could see being a very important and at the same time difficult question with what you do. Because if you're an ER nurse, there's a lot of decisions that need to be made. And we always want to be learning from our decisions. How can we grow? What can we do differently next time? But it's hard at the same time to be like, I'm doing what I think is best in the moment. Is that right? Like, you know what I mean? Sean said yes. So, okay. I don't know the answer. And I don't know if there is an answer yet. And maybe that simply is the answer. I'm just going to take a moment for us to all to pause, write our answer, and come back together. Modern Girl says, I've been behind with my journaling. No worries. You can start again now. You can't be behind. I think it's really important that when it comes to our journaling, and I know this is hard because I remember Modern Girl, we were talking about this and that it's so easy to think I have to just go all in. I have to do this every single day. But when we think like that, the problem is that then if we miss a day, we miss a week, we feel sad, right? We feel disappointed. And that negates all the journaling that you did before that. So instead, don't look at it as being behind. Think of it as an opportunity now to start. Easier said than done. But your journal finds you when you need it. Absolutely. And we're always here to reconnect every Tuesday, 11 a.m. Eastern. Because once a week is better than not at all. Jenna, when I mask who I truly am to acquaintances. Okay. I also want you to know that sometimes you're going to have to do that. And as frustrating as it can be and as draining as it can be, it's sometimes a protection. And so maybe it's actually the feeling that it gives you rather than the action itself, if that makes sense. Like maybe it's taking too much energy from you and we could separate the two. Just a thought. I know we're not necessarily looking for answers right now, but I can't help it. Okay. That makes sense. That is a very hard path to navigate. And makes a lot of yes, I know. That's a tricky situation. But you're coming out of it on the other side, which I think is the beauty of it. And celebrating that, focusing on that is so much more important or so much more empowering. Okay. Amazing. Now, there's one more prompt for today. Okay, so if you're ready to move into this last prompt, let's do it. I want this third prompt. This is where we're going to focus on stability while growing. So the question I have for you is, as I continue to grow, what must stay true about me? And why is that non-negotiable? I'll repeat this in just a moment. Oh, Jenna loves that. I'm so happy. Okay. I love when a prompt just really resonates. So again, just to repeat it, the last prompt for today is, as I continue to grow, what must stay true about me? And why is that a non-negotiable? The reason we want to ask this question is because growth can pull you in a lot of directions. It can lead to you proving yourself, comparing yourself, or also chasing. So taking this approach from the word rooted growth asks a different question. growth versus rooted growth is so important. I want to just make a little note here because I think that's a powerful thing to acknowledge. So what do I want to write that in? Just a little box, actually. So I'm just going to grab this little sticker here because I really like this point. This is all about the idea of growth versus rooted growth. You want to make sure that you are growing in the direction that aligns with who you are, those principles that we identified, and when you feel most like yourself. That's what this question's about. So I want you to answer this question from the mindset of, who am I committed to being regardless of success, praise, or outcome? So some things to consider when you're answering this question. What parts of my character define me? What do I want to remain steady? There's our word from last week. Even as my circumstances change. Yes. Do you want me to write down, who am I committed to, that sentence? So I'll absolutely write that down. The prompt itself is going to be, okay. So here I have the prompt. As I continue to grow, what must stay true about me, and why is that non-negotiable? Let me write this all down because I think that this is so important. Growth can pull you in different directions. And I'll move my hand so you can, I have a feeling you want to screenshot it. Proving yourself, comparing, okay, yes, I just wanted to write it all down because I think it's something I actually don't want to forget, or chasing the next level. So, rooted growth here, absolutely. Rooted growth asks a different question. Let me grab a different pen. I'm going to grab just a red pen so we can separate the two here. Who am I committed to being regardless of success, praise, or outcome? So the next thing I'm going to list here is the things to consider. This is something, I'm actually going to write this down too because I want you to keep coming back to this on a daily basis. So we're going to write, ask yourself, I'm so happy. Okay, that makes my day. Can you read the gray? Okay, I think so. Okay. What part of my character actually, let's make that what parts of my character define me rather than just one. What do I want to remain steady? I like the connection. Even as my circumstances change. And then the third one, what would it look like to expand without losing myself? The reason why, I'm just going to hold this up. If you guys want to screenshot it, please feel free. The reason why this is so important too is because the goal is not to grow faster. The goal is to grow deeper. You want your roots to be planted deep. It doesn't matter how long they take to grow. It's more important that they do the growing in a way that's intentional and will lead to feeling like yourself. This is a hard question to answer. You're definitely going to need to take your time with this. So let's start to think about how we might answer this right now, though. I'm going to give us all just a moment, a minute or few, to answer this question in a way that's honest and accurate for ourselves. Yes, Jenna. I'm proud of that. That's why you asked to write it so you can think about it. I totally hear that. I'm so glad you like them, Shauna. Good. I'm glad you have to think about it. That's what these prompts are meant to do, to help you spark these thoughts, these ideas that maybe you didn't think about before. It's homework for tonight. And work is getting in the way of seeing these questions. Okay. No worries. A few things to answer that, modern girl. First, I will be posting the prompts to our TikTok after this. They'll go up this afternoon. Second, I always upload the recordings to the tube. How does everyone feel about their journaling session today? Oh, I'm so happy that you know. Yes, always. That was our last prompt for today. I started answering this question. It's definitely one that we'll want to come back to throughout the week, throughout the day even, and really hone into it. I'm so proud of all the work that you guys did today. These keep you consistent. Yes, little you. And Shonda, I'm so glad that you could join us today. I'm always excited when it's someone's first time, whether it's journaling in general or with us. The last thing I like to do is just remind you guys to take a moment to look at what you wrote. I want you right now to thank yourself for showing up, for taking this time to care for your mind and heart. You showed up for yourself, and that matters. So carry this energy with you into your day. Let your journal be a place that you can come back to when you need clarity, grounding, or direction. If you want to continue reflecting on this week's theme, revisit these prompts anytime in your reflection section. Thank you for journaling with me and being part of this community. And as always, keep navigating each day with purpose. Bye, everyone.